what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
This podcast is sponsored by the 2019 Foot Candle Film Festival. This year's festival will be held September 27th through the 29th in Hickory, North Carolina. Learn more by visiting footcandlefilmfestival.com.
Lambo doors or the woo-up drop. If you busy plotting on what I got, kick in your door, it's what you thought. $100,000 on the tabletop. Half price my whip, same price my watch. Got no jumper, but I ball a lot. So young Stoney, I do what I want. Candy paint with the white on top. Lambo doors.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 16, volume 2 of America's slowest growing podcast. I'm Chad East, and it's not a big fan day, Hank. Not a big fan day. I'm Chad East, and I'm not a big fan of turning 45 years old tomorrow, calling plumbers, handymen, exterminators, and never getting a call back. And last but not least, Hank, I'm not a fan of being organized.
Oh, man. That middle one's just another day in the life of a realtor. I got to tell you.
You run into it every day.
My name's Hank Eimer, and I'm not a big fan of skipping right past spring weather. The home thermometer switch between winter and summer. And not being able to stop sweating after summer exercise.
Do you know it's always, for your big fans and not big fans, it's always climate or weather related? Have you noticed that?
I would love to be a meteorologist. And the only reason that I say that is that person, whoever it is, man or woman, can be wrong 60% of the time and secure their job.
Still be a hero.
Still be a hero.
Absolutely.
Hail? I don't know. Maybe it comes, maybe it doesn't. There'll probably be some thunder sometime this week.
Oh, that's so true. So true.
Why wouldn't there be?
You would look good, with the map behind you pointing to the fronts here, the cold front moving into the hot front, warm front. Yes.
There'd probably be some, there'd be some trouble. It would be like, I'd want to put something stupid on there and then I'd get fired.
Yes, probably so.
Yep.
Probably so. But barometric pressure, you're really good with barometric pressure.
Yes.
Yes. Wonderful.
It's one of my favorite things to talk about.
Sure it is.
At a party. Come see me. I'll bore you to death.
Well, Hank, the first thing I mentioned, yes, we are right upon the cusp of, say that word, cusp. That's a good word, cusp.
Say cusp?
Say cusp.
Cusp.
Do you say the p at the end?
Everybody does. That's the way it's said.
Okay.
That's the way it's said, Jeff.
My friend Roger and I used to talk about what our favorite words. We were like in high school vocabulary nerds, if you will. And so we would just like to learn about words, their definitions, probably because one of our teachers stressed that.
Got all the ladies with this one.
Oh, buddy, they were lining up. Say alabaster again, Chad. Candelabra, maybe?
See those two guys over there? Huge vocabulary guys.
They're so hot.
I'm sure that's what everybody puts on their online profile now.
Yes, exactly. Vocabulary kings. But anyway, I'm turning 45 tomorrow, bro. And, until 2 weeks ago, I really thought, and this is no lie, I thought I was 43 turning 44. I lost a whole year somewhere. Do you keep track of how your age? I mean, is it something that you think about? Again, because until 2 weeks ago, I thought I was a year younger than I really was.
Yeah, see, that's because you're dumb and you can't count. Okay, but so the reality of it is
it's because I don't care.
You don't care. I mean, what is it? 40 to 50? Who cares?
Who cares? Yes.
Right. Who cares? Right. I'm with you on that. I mean, it doesn't really matter anymore. My dad actually, to tell you, because my dad is, he had me late in his life.
Yes.
My dad is 85. Right when he turns next year, he says he's 1 year older because he was like, I was not born yet, but so he's trying to be the old guy. He wants people to be like, oh, you look good for 86, or you look good,
Yes.
So he's adding years where ladies get crazy about it.
They do.
Always 21, always 28. Always whatever.
Yes. And the other thing ladies get crazy about when it comes to birthday celebrations, it's not one day for them. They get like almost 2 weeks to a month of birthday celebrations.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, but to be fair to them, you know why we don't get that?
Why?
Because we packed that mother into one 24-hour.
That's very, very true. What a great point.
So yours is on Thursday?
Yes, so it's tomorrow.
So we're taking off work on Friday.
Well, we might do something, but this is pretty cool. So around my birthday, a lot of my friends have birthdays very similar. My high school buddies, we grew up, 6 of us had birthdays in May. Like Will was May 7th, Hunter May 19th, Roger May 11th. So anyway, we're all celebrating birthdays together. In my neighborhood, right? My neighborhood where I live. So Laurie Roney, happy birthday, Laurie Roney. Today, the big 4-0, right?
Wow.
So she's celebrating 4-0 today. Jennifer's birthday is in 2 weeks. Kit or somebody else's birthday is at the same time. So anyway, we have a lot of birthdays going on in our neighborhood. So tonight, we're getting some transportation to go to a restaurant in Davidson called Kindred to celebrate Laurie's birthday, the big 4-0. So anyway, there's a lot of birthday celebration stuff going on. To be quite honest, birthday for me, I don't really celebrate it, Hank. I don't want to really make a big deal out of it. Just maybe give me a little time to play golf, watch a ball game or two, drink a vodka drink, spend some time with my family. That's all I really need.
That's all anybody needs.
That's all anybody needs, right, Hank?
That's it.
And so what year will you be celebrating this year?
This year, I'm going to be 43.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
Yeah. I remember looking across, not maybe this desk, but maybe across the mall at Hickory High, and I was staring at a 13-year-old kid, and I was just a 16-year-old kid.
Yep.
Look how time has flown.
Look how time has flown.
Yes.
And you said, look at that guy over there. I'm going to give him a massive wedgie one day.
Yes. This is a perfect transition into our first topic of the day, Hank. So the last day of school is right upon us. Our kids, 2 or 3 more weeks of school left.
Yep.
We've got end of grade testing popping off. We've got, finale of this. My daughter's doing her dance recital this week. And anyway, a lot of things are wrapping up. Can you remember when you were growing up and it was the last day of school? And whether it be, you go to the pool last day of school, you skateboard from Grandview to the center. Do you remember something that really stood out last day of school celebrations, if you will?
Yeah, the thing that I remember the best about after school, I don't know what it is about after school, but the 2 things I did from probably first grade until I got my license is it was always like when you left school, there was some sort of treat involved, right? Sure. Like ice cream. It was like Circus Hall cream. You'd go to Circus Hall cream. And then I don't care. It could be a puddle, but you were getting in some body of water. You know what I mean? It was maybe the lake.
Creek.
It was maybe a pool somewhere.
Right.
But like you'd already been in a pool.
So
you'd
true.
already been in the lake or whatever. But you're like, today's the day. Summer is kicking off today. And so you would like ice cream, bathing suit, let's go, get burnt to a crisp the first day and have to have aloe on.
Yeah, it's hilarious because it always involves a body of water. So true. Were you one of those kids, and there weren't too many of them, but literally the bell would ring and they'd come, even in elementary school, they'd come screaming out and like tossing papers over there like you watching a movie. Like, come on, kid. Really?
No, I saw in your intro you were talking about getting organized.
Yes.
I'm kind of an organized person.
Yes.
And so like, was I screaming around? And yes, but
not tossing.
I had my stuff in my Trapper Keeper pretty legit.
Yes.
So
like each tab was very organized too.
Correct.
Okay, understood.
Correct.
I have 2 very fond memories of the last day of school. One being very negative, and one actually both of them affected my heart. I'm going to start here, and I'm speaking. I've never told anybody this story, Hank. It's special for you and the other 3 listeners.
Open up to us here.
So these other 3 listeners that are on the air with us whenever they subscribe or download. In 5th grade, I had a teacher. Probably she will go down as my favorite teacher of all time, and actually still lives in the area. Her name was Kelly Jarrett. Okay, and she was
She goes to my church.
Okay. And she was probably 23 years old when I was in 5th grade.
Right.
It was her first teaching job. And she inspired me to be creative and all these things that I really wasn't. I was, but I would never really let them out. Like she encouraged me to write a rap, right? I would never written a rap.
Look at you now.
Look at me now. I'm rapping every Wednesday, right?
Yep.
At Bourbon Street. Come check me out. 10:30. Be there.
Back to the story, please.
Back to the story. Okay, so anyway, so very encouraging. So the last day of school was 5th grade too. So got to remember you're leaving elementary school. So there's a lot of things running through my mind in this little body of mine. And so we leave school. Greg Gorm and I, who was my best friend, we go to a body of water. We swim in my pool. Of course, that's what you do on the last day of school. But when I woke up the next day, it's like my heart was broken. Do you understand what I'm saying? My heart was broken that I would never be able. What it boils down to is I had a big time crush on my teacher. And so for about 2 weeks, I was so sad that I would not be able to go back to her classroom. You know what I mean, man? And the other thing.
So you're into older ladies. I get it.
Hey, absolutely. And I always have been.
You're into older ladies.
And also I was leaving elementary school too. I was 5th grade transition going to junior high. So a lot of things happening with this in this little brain of mine. But anyway, I do remember that vividly, that how my heart was broken for about 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, boom, I'm on to life.
That's never happened to me. I've never been sad that I got out of school. That's if you ask any other 5th grader in America, they're going to say you're out of your mind.
Yeah. Well, I was an emotional, sentimental little fella back then, 5th grade. Now I'm just
calloused.
Yes, I'm hardened.
Weathered.
I'm hardened and weathered. The other story I remember, and you'll get a kick out of this. Do you remember when we were growing up? It was my 7th and 8th grade years, and there was this big mad push to be a skateboarder.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, Tony Hawk.
Bingo, Christian Hosoi, all these dudes. Well, I had the gear, homeboy. This was 7th grade. I had the gear. I had the haircut. I mean, I looked like a professional skater. But when it came to actually riding a skateboard, trying to do any trick, basically even standing on it, I was terrible. The word was known in the industry as poser.
Yeah.
Do you remember that word?
You'd stand there holding your board, and everybody else would be skating. You'd be talking. You'd be like, I was getting ready.
Chad, come out here. Get on this ramp. I'll be right there.
I'm getting ready to get on it. I'm telling a story, and then I'll be back.
Yes.
The story had no end.
Absolutely. Perfect. So I would never do anything with the board except hold it. Well, anyway, a big group of dudes who were actually good skateboarders. Frank Young and some
Holler Boys.
Yes. And I'm talking about the dudes that were at Grandview because the plan was bring your board to school at Grandview when Grandview was where it used to be, and we're going to skate to the center. That's a
trek.
That is a long way on a skateboard. So anyway, I was like, okay, I'll bring it, whatever. And, I'll figure out a way to get there.
Lay on your stomach and surf it.
Exactly. Or maybe hail a cab, jump in the cab, let them drop me off a block before, and then skate on down to the center.
Yep.
So anyway, here we go as a big group of, there's probably 12 deep. All right, guys, let's go. Frank's leading. He's a heck of a skateboarder. He goes in the lead. And so Casey Goodwin and I, we're in the back, trying to keep up. Next thing I know, they are so far in front of us, Hank, like you can't even see them. We ended up just picking up our boards and walking probably 3/4 of the way. Frank and them, they've already been high diving off the pool at the center. They're doing all these. They probably played a game of 21 already.
Huff got him a suicide.
Huff got him a suicide. They've eaten 2 hot dogs, played a game of butts up on the wall outside. And me and Casey come back sweating, couldn't even stand up on the damn skateboard, Hank. So that was my last day, 7th grade story of my big failure as a skateboarder.
Sounds like a huge failure.
Yeah, huge failure.
Sounds like a huge failure. And the funny thing is that each elementary, middle, and high school all have their last day of school like heroics.
Yes.
Elementary is the snack in the pool, right? Middle school is you want to hang with your boys and maybe see that girl.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Yes.
Right? High school, it's a little bit more deviant behavior.
Sure.
So I think that's kind of funny to watch the few.
Do you remember your last day of high school? So it's the last day of school, and then you have graduation either that night or the Saturday, and then boom, you're off to the beach.
Yes.
Is that what your routine was?
No. So I had to stay and play Legion.
Wow. So you missed senior week.
I never went to a senior week. And so
Overrated. You didn't miss anything.
Yeah, well, I wasn't upset about it. It was like, all my boys were up. I was upset because I couldn't hang out with my buddies.
Sure.
But it's just, I hang out with you every weekend, and we, it's going to be the same thing as it is down there, but,
right.
We get to sleep in a crappy hotel room. But I was still trying to play.
Yes.
And so I'd never been there, which is probably good because, there's a 50-50 shot you're going to get in some trouble down at the beach.
Very true. Did you guys have a party that ended all parties your senior year of high school? Like, did somebody throw the big bash that ended the school year?
Yeah, we did. It was at Michael Banks' house.
Okay.
And it got crunk. It was really in the summer.
Okay. Not right after school.
Not right after school, because everybody did go to the beach. It was like 2 days later.
2 days later, yeah.
Everybody left for the beach. And so we did it. They did it when they got back, but it was banging.
Yeah. Ours
How about you?
Charlie Norman had the end of the year bash at his house. It was phenomenal. So you go, yes. So it's graduation on Friday, and then you have the real graduation, I guess maybe on Saturday, and then his party was Saturday night, and then I think I got home at like 3:00 in the morning, and then Will Rowland came to pick me up to leave for the beach at 8:00 in the morning, and boom, it was off to the races.
Magical,
a lot of fun, magical time. While we're talking about magical times, Hank, my daughter Olivia celebrated her last middle school dance. It was last Friday night, which was emotional for me because I went to the same middle school that Olivia goes, Grandview. I'm a Grandview Eagle for life. It was her last party or dance at Grandview as a Grandview Eagle. And I asked Olivia, hey, would you mind if I come chaperone the dance? And she was like, heck no, Daddy. Come on, Let me do my thing. You and Mommy can drop us off. Really, no pictures. We don't want anything. Just drop us off. But
was it a big group? I mean, did it?
Yep. So actually, she was with your niece.
Okay.
Yep. So your niece and then a couple other girls. There are probably 6 girls that went together, and they look beautiful. They're dressed up in their dresses and all this stuff. It was awesome. So we did get a couple pictures, and I'll be honest, I was sneaking around. I wanted to get a lay of the land. They had a red carpet. Like only the 8th graders could walk the red carpet. I almost called the principal to ask if I could MC the red carpet to say, look at the beautiful Olivia East walking down the red carpet. Right. Who are you wearing tonight? Cadence, you look lovely this evening. Do a little interview. So I ran that by Olivia before I talked to the principal, and she was like, that's impossible. You're not doing that. So I backed off.
So she's embarrassed of you too.
Of course.
Kind of like us.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Kind of like everyone
that's
is.
Great.
But anyway, it was fabulous. She enjoyed it. She danced, and it just I was nostalgic thinking back.
Right.
What is your favorite when you think back about any type of dance growing up? High school, prom, juniorette, center dance when you're in middle school? What do you go back to?
No question about what my best experience was. And it was middle school. It seemed like everybody in middle school, when you had a birthday, you'd have a birthday with a couple of your buddies, and you'd have a dance at the center.
Yes.
Okay.
And to remind everybody about what the center is, it was the spot that every teenage kid would go to. You play tennis, you play basketball, you swim at the pool, you'd hang in the teen room. It was just a place for us to go.
Which is currently the YMCA.
Right.
And it had a great guy there, C.O. Miller, who was kind of like a father figure to all of us. And he would, he'd keep you out of trouble and everything else. And to tell you, put the dance aside, I was talking about this last night. Kids have a tendency to sit on their phone and text to their girlfriends, like they like a girl, and so they text. We were forced to go to the center and sit in front of that person for 5 hours, right?
Right.
And we'd go shoot basketball, and then we'd go say, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
And then by the end of the day, they knew that you liked them. And then, that's where you learned how to talk to girls, which kids don't know how to do that anymore. They don't know how to do it. So the center, to me, those school dances, that is where I gained more confidence in my daily life. Okay. Like getting out on a floor and dancing in front of others when you're 11 or 12 or 13 is once you say, screw it, get out there and do it. It's liberating.
Sure.
And so I think those dances were more fun. And that's the dance that I remember the most because it was kind of like pure fun, right? You're trying to dance with a girl. You were awkward. You're trying to dance with your buddies.
Yes.
You know,
Awkward doing that too. Everything's awkward.
But
Yeah.
you weren't trying to, do anything but have fun. And so it was those by far my best dance experiences.
Yeah, man. I remember them vividly too. And I was, I've already told my dancing stories a million times on this podcast. I'm not going to bore everybody again. But though, I'm a smaller statured fellow and I've been this my entire life. But I was a pretty good dancer and the girls would like to dance with me. And so we were dancing fast dance. Well, then a slow song would come on.
Oh, yeah.
Girl, you are to me more than a woman should be. And I dedicate my life
Do you know we had
to you always.
a listener that I was talking to yesterday that said that's his least favorite part of the podcast.
I talked to a listener who said it was his favorite part of the podcast. Well, anyway, 7th grade, that song Always. I can't remember who sings it off the top of my head, but anyway, everybody knows this song. So we'd be fast dancing, and then that song would come on. So I'm dancing with girls, and I would grab the little girl, and we'd get close. We'd dance. The protocol is the girls' arms on your shoulder,
Yep.
boys' arms around the waist, and I'm shorter in stature, and so my head would always kind of lay in a perfect position. You understand what I'm saying? And so it was just remarkable. That's one thing I do remember.
You'd have to play roulette with which girls you're going to ask to dance.
Yes.
When is the slow song going to come on?
Exactly. Yes, absolutely.
So you'd be this is the one.
Yes. It's like
this is the build I want to be with.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're in the perfect spot when that slow song comes on.
It's like musical chairs.
That's what it is. Musical chairs. Thank you very much. But I have very fond memories of those dances as well. It's inspiring time.
It was an inspiring time. And it's hard to believe that your daughter is in the midst of those times right now.
Absolutely.
In the midst. And, my little boy's going to be there pretty soon. And, it's just funny to watch. So just funny to watch. We have a good friend, Michael Banks, whose son the other day walked up to me it was his great grandmother's funeral, and walked up to me and he's taller than me. Now I'm almost 6'4".
Yes.
Okay. This kid's 15. I remember him, as a baby, and it's hard to believe that these kids, he's like wearing a size 13. He's
What
bigger
grade
than me.
is he now?
He's a freshman.
He's a freshman,
right? And it's hard to believe that these you think of them as being little kids, like your daughter, little, being little and everything else, and they're growing up right before our eyes, and it's kind of funny to watch because like Will Banks. Now it turns to embarrassing him anytime I see him. It's not encouragement anymore. It's embarrassment.
Right.
Just like it should be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Hank, thank you for walking down memory lane with me real quick. And let us take a quick break and thank our sponsors.
Hey, this is Andrew Moose from the Street Circle Drive podcast here on The Mesh. Interested in promoting your business to an online audience? Your ad could be right here. Consider advertising on the Mesh Podcast Network. Head over to themesh.tv for details.
All right, guys, we are back. Big fan coming to you on a May 22nd. Hank, while we're on the school thing, we've talked about school dances. We talked about last day of school, all this school-related stuff. Let's talk about a little education for that ass, okay, Hank?
Yo, aggressive.
So, EOGs, it's a stressful end of grade testing. It's a stressful time for all the kids, stressful time for the parents. I hear my wife talking to her girlfriends on the phone, and 90% of the conversation is EOG testing, okay? So your son is getting ready to do his first round of EOGs.
3rd grade, yep.
My daughter is in 8th grade, getting ready to do her last EOG, and my Lucy Rose is in 4th grade. This will be her second time. Tell me kind of what you're feeling going to the EOGs with your kids. Have they talked about it? What are you feeling here?
No, he hasn't shown any kind of hesitation or pressure or whatever. So, I mean, maybe ignorance is bliss. It's his first one. Yeah. And I think boys process, and not always, but I think, girls are pretty heady when it comes to this and pressure and whatever it may be. And, guys sometimes are just, kind of walk their way into it. So I'm embracing that because I don't want any pressure on them. I mean, do your best, go in there and, be thoughtful with it. Take your time. And but I don't have any anxiety over it. Next year I might have, might be talking to you, and 90% of our phone calls are on EOGs.
God, I hope not.
I don't either.
I remember, so give them the big the slogan would be eat a good breakfast, a hearty breakfast.
Hearty.
Get a good night's sleep beforehand. I remember those things stick in my brain forever from our testing when we were little. But as we move forward too, I agree. The boys and girls, they handle the testing a little bit differently. My Olivia, the EOGs to her, it's the world, brother. I mean, she puts a lot of pressure on herself for these EOGs, and I think a lot of kids do now, you know? Because back in the day, I think they were called the CATs, C-A-Ts. Do you remember the CATs?
I don't remember any cat. I don't remember any of that stuff, especially not in third grade.
Oh, boy, they had testing 3rd, 4th, 5th, all the way through 8th, and I want to say they were the CATs, maybe because
I didn't care about that cat.
And so I remember my dad, you know, he would make a really good breakfast for us, specifically for the cats, and I would get a little stressed out, but really not. I mean, you know,
Huevos Rancheros, something like that.
Maybe so. Just get through it. But today, the testing's taken a lot more serious, I guess, by some.
Well, you know, it's funny because there is pressure. Like kids are feeling like I didn't think about like what college I wanted to go to until like my senior year or junior year. You know, kids are thinking about it in middle school
all day long, dude.
Like I better do these things to make me more well-rounded, which is, you know, I mean, it's just crazy how it's gotten to that point.
Yeah.
How about you? So Olivia is crazy like that.
Yeah.
How about your youngest?
Lucy Rose, so she's experienced it 1 year. She's in 4th grade, and she doesn't really phase her, man. She just knows, all right, because Olivia has been a really good teacher, because Olivia has told her, all right, these are the things you need to do. Read through them first. Read through the problem first. Answer to your best ability. Then come and redo it again just to verify. And so Olivia's got a whole process. Lucy Rose, she just like scribble a couple dots. Boom, I'm gone. Moving on. So anyway, Olivia's trying to help her with her testing to do it the Olivia way, which is the only way, I guess, in our household.
Funny.
But yeah, it's going to be fun. So the next 2 weeks, I think EOG start on Wednesday for Olivia. I'm not sure whether for the elementary school kids. I'm not sure, but I know it's next week.
It is next week.
You got any big plans for Memorial Day, Hank?
I do.
It's right upon us.
I do. We are leaving this week, and we are going to go to the mountains. So I had to make an executive decision this year, which was not one that I wanted to make. So we usually go to the mountains for Memorial Day, and then you turn around and you play member guest the next weekend.
Right.
And for probably, I'd say, 10 years, my brother-in-law has come up here, and so I'm with him during Memorial Day up in the mountains, and we have a good time, a lot of family time. Then he turns right around and comes up for member guest. Well, my wife planned a tennis trip well in advance, and she's going to be gone member guest weekend.
Oh no!
And I can't parent
and member guest.
Yes. So we're not doing member guest this year.
A decade of history.
It's been a long time. And so I had to disappoint my brother-in-law with, hey, we're not going to do member guests this year, right?
How did he take that?
He wasn't happy. He wasn't happy because, you know, that's his chance to shine.
Oh, yes. And does he shine? Like a diamond. Like a diamond.
Yeah. So we're not doing it. But what I've been told is this week's our member guest. Memorial Day weekend's our member guest. So we are going up to the mountains, and we're going to spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come back Monday.
Yes.
Up there. And we're probably going to play golf. We'll do family stuff, hike, stuff like that. But it's usually pretty relaxed. But I feel like I'm going into your brother-in-law's house, house.
Yes, I understood.
So we're going to get into some trouble, I'm sure, but it'll be fun. How about you?
Sounds like a blast. Well, my birthday, it's tomorrow, and so my Memorial Day weekend, hopefully we'll kick off Friday and plan to play a little golf. My family has something planned for me that's a surprise. I think we're going out to eat or cooking out in the neighborhood. I don't know. Saturday, check this out, brother. So my Lucy Rose is a heck of a dancer. We've talked about her dancing, and so her recital is this weekend. Recital, normally she's in the little age group.
Right.
Well, then she's doing a couple like duet or solo dances that's putting her in the older age group too. So normally we only have to do it half a day. So we would go in there at 10 or 11, leave at 2. Now we're going at 10, 11, leave at 2, come back at 4, stay till 9.
9?
9
Oh,
times.
You're a dance dad, man.
9 times, brother. Oh. So I don't know what.
That makes for a rough day.
I'm telling you, I'm trying to plan on how we're going to get through this. It's a lot of fun to watch it, but that's a whole day, and that's Memorial Day weekend that rough. You're in an enclosed space watching, to be quite honest. I've been to many of her little dance things that lead up to the final recital. I've seen these things.
You've seen all the dances.
All of the dances.
Yeah,
multiple times.
Yeah. You're watching this on repeat now.
Yeah, so I don't know. Do you know what an edible is?
I do know what that is.
Just kidding, guys. Just kidding.
I'm sure there's many a listener that will be calling you.
I was thinking maybe that could help me get through, but no, I'm just kidding. We're going to get through it on Saturday, Sunday. Plan to be on the lake a little bit. Monday, rest up, get ready for the next week, because the following week is when I go to the mountains with my entire family to celebrate my mom and dad's 50th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're going. We started in Asheville, but now I think we're in Banner Elk. I don't know where we're going. My mom planned it all, and we're just the whole family, like
one house,
one big house.
Yeah, one big house.
All of us.
Oh man, that's always a lot
together.
of fun.
So it should be a blast. I look forward to it.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that'll be a lot of fun. That's because, like you said, school's going to be gone, and next thing you know, it's in the summer. And I don't know about you, I got a pretty packed June.
Yeah,
and I'm sure a packed summer for you. So It's going to start getting busy.
Yeah, yes, it will. And before we leave, I noticed we didn't get a chance to say goodbye to each other off the tennis courts yesterday.
Oh.
So if you want to share with the audience, or I can, but
I didn't feel good yesterday.
I could tell something was not right with you. Because it was hot yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't eat very well yesterday, and so when you get those stars,
yes,
like you're going to pass out. I felt that about the middle of the first set.
Really?
Yeah.
After the 6-1 set.
No, that was the middle of the first set. Okay, the middle of the first set.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel 100%, but that's not going to stop me from taking the blame for this. Okay, we lost 6-1, 6-3. It happens. It's the first time in 8 games, in 8 matches that you beat me. Okay, I'm good with this.
You feel good.
You
feel good.
Federer lost every once in a while. Every once in a while it's going to happen.
I'm sure we'll have a rematch soon. But I did want to say, it seemed just like you were a little out of sorts. I mean, not friendly, leaving the court, kind of stormed off, if you will.
Oh, I did not storm off.
Kind of stormed off the court. But
you cannot tell me that I ever get mad on the court.
You may be a little angry, but nothing. I'm just giving the audience a hard time. Giving you a hard time to the audience. You were fine, a fine, gracious loser.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll meet again next week.
I'm sure we will.
Yes. All right, big fans. So glad to have you. Don't forget, share the podcast with your friends. Ask them to download, subscribe, themesh.tv. Big fan, coming to you every 2 weeks. Go ahead, Hank.
One other thing is we've had some listeners say that it's not coming through. That the last podcast was December. So if you know of anybody that's listening or has been a podcast listener and has not gone back on there and re-downloaded it, then they're probably not getting the new episodes.
Absolutely. And the other thing to stress, so if a lot of folks were downloading on iTunes, you need to go to themesh.tv now to download. That's the easiest way. I'm not sure what's going on with the iTunes thing, but I'm sure it will be remedied. But until then, go to themesh.tv, download, and subscribe.
Right.
Thank you, Hank.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Until next time. Peace.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.